Hi everyone, it's Yvette with a new process video, and my layout today is inspired slash scrap lifted somewhat from Wilna Furstenberg, which if you follow my channel you know that I really love. And Wilna has a new class over at Big Pictures classes, and it's called Art and Design. And it just started yesterday. Yesterday was Thursday, the 25th, and registration is open till October 1st. So if you want to join, yeah, you should do it in the next few days. The content for the first week has been released yesterday, and there is a lot of stuff there, like tons of videos, and yeah, Wilna's pages are always really beautiful, and very inspiring. So yeah, check it out. And week one is all about grids and grid design. And grid design is not something, it's like not one of my go-to designs. I think mainly because I really love layering and kind of, I don't know, more going with the flow of a page. And with grid design I find that you need to plan and sometimes even measure things. Oh my god. But here you will see how I found a good way to avoid measuring, because numbers confuse my brain. And yeah, so what I did is I used my craft mat and some washi tape, and I think this washi tape is about a ½ inch wide, and you could just see I left an inch of, like a frame of 1 inch around my washi tape. So actually it's more than, I guess it's about 1½ inch over the around the design. Yeah, and somehow it worked out, and I think it's quite symmetrical. I did cut down the white cardstock at the end and mounted it on a 12 by 12 piece, so the final piece of like white cardstock is like, my background is only 11½ inches a square. And yeah, so that's how I avoided measuring, and it was actually quite fast and easy, and I really might consider doing this again. And the washi tape is doing double duty here because it's also a good masking tape. So what I mean is that I'm gonna use watercolor here, and the washi tape is gonna keep the watercolor in the squares. Now you can go to the art supply store and buy like artist masking tape. So I'm not sure about the difference. I tape mine very lightly, like my washi tape here, I tape it lightly on the page because I'm also always kind of worried that it will rip my page. It hasn't happened to me a lot, but it happened to me a few times, so enough to make me a bit more careful. And I'm also not using a lot of water here, so I don't know if the masking would be as efficient if you used a lot of water. But since I'm using anyway American Crafts white cardstock here, the cardstock is okay for like wet media, kind of watercolor and gelatos and stuff, but from my experience it can't handle a lot of water, so I don't challenge it. And also I don't think I used a lot of water here, and still the little squares kind of warped and buckled. In the final page I don't think it's noticeable, and I use a lot of adhesive when I mount the white cardstock on the background paper, but the point is that I don't challenge white cardstock with a lot of water, because it's just not made to handle so much water. If you want a lot of water, then go for a watercolor paper. yeah, but you know, I watched Vilna's videos and she always uses white cardstock, and I do love how white the white cardstock is, because my watercolor paper is not pure white, and yeah, you know, you can't compete this like brightness and cleanliness of pure white cardstock. So I wanted some like fun elements on my squares there, and I grabbed a few rub-ons from my stash, and yeah, just combined them here and there. If I paid a little more attention, then I would have like placed my watercolor squares differently, because I wanted actually my photos to be on different places in the rows. So yeah, but I didn't pay attention. So I ended up with two photos being in the middle of the row, like the top and the bottom, and I actually did not want that, but it's not such a big deal, and I still like the way this layout came out. So I'm using different brands here of rub-ons, and some of them are Amy Tan, and some are Dear Lizzie, some are Studio Calico, and I do have to say that the only like disappointment was that a couple of the Amy Tan rub-ons did not work properly. So that was a little annoying. I'm not sure from which collection, but yeah, it's not such a big deal, but some like images I just had to throw away because they weren't transferring to my cardstock. And the cool thing about rub-ons, which I also learned from Wilna, is that they are a resist to watercolor and also gelatos, for example. And yeah, so that's pretty cool. You can make really fun, you can create a really beautiful look, I think, with these rub-ons and then a watercolored background. And the watercolor I went with is my Peerless Watercolors. And if you want to learn, like to get a bit more information and my personal opinion about a few types of watercolors, you should go to my blog, and I posted this week kind of a review or a comparison of a few of the brands that are, I guess, more popular with scrapbookers lately. And yeah, I just wrote some of my impressions and experience with the ones I own. I don't own them all, even though I have way too many. And that is part 1 on my blog, and I'm currently working on part 2, which is turning out to be quite time consuming because I have a lot to say. Yeah, so anyway, I use Peerless Watercolor, and many times I go for Peerless Watercolor because they are so bright and vibrant, and you really need very small amounts of water to use them and to get that lovely watercolor look. And because I used cardstock here, I also wanted to keep the water levels low, so it was a good choice, and the colors are also beautiful. I think all the colors I used here are from the Joanne color pack. I talk about the different packages also on my blog post, so if you're interested, check that out. But the Joanne palette is, I think, 15 colors, and I think they're all like really fun, bright colors. So if that's the type of look you want and you want to try out Peerless, I would definitely recommend this particular package to try out. But it's all bright, lovely colors. If you want like muted colors, then there are other packages that might be more suitable to your style. And yeah, and the embellishments I used here are from We Are Memory Keepers, and I just had it's like scrapbooking with what's on your table, which is a very good way to scrapbook because it's fast and I don't start like going through my stash because it's time consuming, and I just look around what I have around me and grab whatever works. And yeah, apparently it's not so hard to find things that work. And I also had some like die cuts that I cut on my silhouette, and that's kind of the title of this page, even though it doesn't really have a title, but it just says heart. And yeah, just because I liked the pictures of my daughter, and I took I took 2 of these photos, and the one on the left side my daughter took, and I added some journaling around the page, just about how when I grew up, my parents always said things like, oh, when we grew up we didn't go to, I don't know, Europe or whatever. And yeah, it's kind of like a parent's thing to say, I guess. And yeah, I imagine I will say it many times to my daughter, and I can already start saying that when I was 5 years old, I didn't know how to take a selfie, and probably because there was no such thing as a selfie. There was also no such thing as cell phones. And yeah, and it's just amazing how the children of like this generation grow up. I don't know, it's like they learned how to use these skills in the womb, or it's so instinctive, like the operating of all these like tablets and phones. It's really, I don't know, sometimes it creeps me out how good like little kids can be. And just a little story that my mom told me, and it was really funny. She was on a flight, and they were standing on line in the sleeve where you enter the plane, and there was a 3-year-old girl, and she was crying and she was cranky, and her mom asked her like, oh sweetie, you want your like pacifier, the Nuki? And the girl said, no, I want my iPad. So that's our generation, I guess. No, but I don't think it was her iPad. Hopefully it was a family iPad, because yeah, I don't think 3-year-olds should have their own iPads. But maybe it's just me. Anyway, these photos were taken on the beach in Italy in the first day of what we thought would be a week-long vacation, but it turned out to be kind of a one-day vacation. And yeah, I'll probably talk about that. I'll probably scrapbook that story in the next few days. So here are a few still photos of the page. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.